to the podcast where soft power meets quantum creating. My name is Ruth, a feminine energy business coach and embodiment queen behind Reveal. This is your sacred portal for unapologetic expansion, unfiltered wisdom, and a business that flows as intuitive as you do. Let's get unhinged, magnetic, and wildly aligned. You ready for this? Like, are you seriously ready for this? Because we're about to turn the whole world upside down. Let's begin. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm going to be pulling back the curtains on what it really means to lead your business from feminine energy. Why manifestation isn't about journeying your goals, but actually about embodying the identity that is meant to hold them. You know, we talk about surrendering, the empowered kind, selling from a place of faith instead of fear. What happens when your inner child becomes your creative director? Because sometimes the strategy isn't the problem, it's actually about your energy screaming for freedom. Let's talk about recalibration, no burnout, alignment, no algorithm, and the power of becoming the version of you who doesn't force success, but she attracts it. So let's get into the podcast. Okay, so let's talk about the moment when you've done all the right things, right? You've planned, you've prepped, you've poured your energy, not just your energy, by the way, your soul into your business, and it's still not moving the way you thought it would. Honestly, I'm literally at that point right now. And the thing is, that doubt, and do you know what? Doubts actually starts creeping in. It isn't about your content. It's that doubt of, is it my content? Is it my pricing? Did I launch too soon? Is my messaging the right thing? You know, is my sales page right? Does it actually speak to my target audience or target customer or person I'm trying to call in? You know, what if, what if? It's done and it's actually none of that. What's what if the strategy isn't broken? You're just being asked to lead a different way. You know, that's what this episode is actually about. Because I recently realized I wasn't launching from alignment, I was launching from fear. This program, okay, if you've listened for the past how many episodes, right? I've mentioned that I'm in launch season. If I have, if I haven't, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm currently launching a program for my other brand, my lifestyle brand, which is actually my name, Britta Zikiwe, and I am launching, and the name of the program is called Manifestation Alchemy, and it's all about. I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but it's all about um it's for a soft power identity shifting program that helps high achieving women, release old patterns, reconnect to their feminine energy, reconnect to their truest self as well, and embody their next level true deep inner work and intuitive manifestation. It's also for the woman who's ready to start receiving abundance, receiving everything she knows she is meant to achieve have in this life. She's ready to achieve that. The thing is, I actually didn't realize it at first. I thought I was just being prepared, mapping out the funnels, preparing every post, scripting the launch emails, creating the sales page, every single thing that has I have to do for, you know, this launch, right? And but underneath that structure, underneath every action I did to take or I took to make sure that this launch was going the way I wanted it to go and the way I planned was actually pressure. I wasn't launching from desire. I was launching just so I could prove that I got the skills. I know I have the technical knowledge and to to do this. I was trying to prove again. My main issue, right, or the thing that I have shifted from is the fact that I've always been, oh, sorry, I had. always be a people pleaser. But with this launch, I didn't know I was actually still seeking validation from people, Again, I was trying to seek validation or sorry to prove that hey, I deserve to be on this path that I'm actually am, you know. And when once and there was a day I think I was praying, I did a fast for 3 days, and the third day of of the fast, right, I realized that I was still people pleasing. I was still seeking validation. That's what I was still seeking. I was still trying to prove that this path I'm currently am on is the right path for me. So even though yes, I had I'd done all the inner work, all I've done because to be honest, right, the more inner work you do, right, the more stuff you get rid of, the more limiting beliefs, the more fears, you know, the more you reprogram your subconscious mind and you then reparent your inner child, So, yeah, so I discovered that I was still trying to prove something, to avoid judgment, to, avoid failure, that again, I was on the right path, that yeah, they don't need to worry about and people around me, they don't need to worry about me, or they need to put their fears on me, which will affect me not to, you know achieve or go after my goals. So as some time passed after that prayer, after my fasting was done, I think in the night when I was going to bed or the next day, I'm not sure, but I know it was a few hours after that realization that I then got a download, literally in the shower. You know, it was like my inner child, my higher self, God said, go to a live, go to an Instagram live, or or a YouTube live, and in that live, speak from the soul. No slides, no scripts, just show up as her. Now, what I mean by her, the her, my her is the version of me who I want to be. Yeah, the version of me I'm trying to work towards, that could hold my dreams. You know, And in that moment, I felt it, that tight grip I had on the strategy, it loosened. That was the first time I realized I was never meant to build this brand from hustle. You know, I was always meant to build it from frequency. You know, See, right, we've been told that surrender means doing less. That if you're not grinding, if you're not hustling, yeah, you are literally giving up. But something I learned during this launch, especially this launch, is that surrendering isn't actually soft or isn't softness. Leading from feminine energy, right, doesn't mean you sit around waiting for signs from the universe, from God, from your higher self, whoever you believe in. It means you trust yourself so deeply that you listen when downloads come. When you get that intuitive downloads, you know, from God, you know, you pause when your body says rest. You speak when your soul says go live, go ahead, you know. Honey, dying listeners, that's leadership because anyone can follow a launch plan. Literally, I've seen on Etsy, or I think this is not Etsy, it's not Amazon. Either Etsy or somewhere that people have literally been selling a launch checklist. You can buy that launch checklist and create your and go sorry and use that launch checklist to guide you as you go on your launch. But the thing is, going through that checklist or letting that launch checklist guide you during your launch doesn't guarantee that you actually have a successful launch. Honestly, to me, and one another thing is that it's those checklists are based on someone else's experiences, someone else's intuitive download. They're not yours. Yes, they are to guide you, to help you. I mean, but you should literally trust your own intuition during your launch or during your anything, either way, business, offers, product, services, anything you're doing in your business. You should literally trust the downloads you get from your intuition, from your inner child, from God, you know, than and then use what maybe what you buy from other people, like again the launch checklist of what someone guides you to as and use those both things to achieve your goal. What I'm saying is you shouldn't just depend on someone else's offer, coaching program, services, products, digital products, whatever you want to call it. You shouldn't just depend on someone else's knowledge to achieve your goals. Yes, they are there to help you. Honestly, you don't know what you don't know. You have to acquire some kind of knowledge from other people. But I'm saying is yes, that's good. Get the knowledge you need to get from other people's based on other people's experiences. But also let your intuition guide you as you use those knowledge or things you learn from people's. Let your intuition guide you because it will guide you because literally I just thought about this right now. Yes, you may be following someone else's um maybe strategy. For instance, maybe let's say um you bought a coaching program and you are in a one-on-one program with the person, right? The person is telling you what to do, but you should have some kind of discernment. That's where intuition comes in. Your intuition will give you some kind of discernment because if the person tells you something, right, and in your body, when the person tells you that your body doesn't feel right, that's telling you something. That's telling you something. Maybe your intuition is telling you, yes, take whatever that person is saying, right, or do whatever that person is saying, or tweak it a bit, whatever that person is saying. But when it comes to that parts where your body wasn't fully aligned, your body wasn't fully settled or comfortable with what that person said, you know, leave other parts where your body wasn't comfortable with and do what and use the other parts that your body is comfortable and nervous system is comfortable with, and also add in things your intuition says or tells you to do to replace to not no not to replace, I mean to go alongside that intuition, sorry, that person's knowledge or strategy or experience, you know. So I'm saying don't only depend on someone else's experience. Use your discernment, use your intuition, and work with both to achieve your goals. Another thing I was actually saying is that anyone can follow a launch plan, but not everyone can actually has the courage to actually lead from faith instead of fear, to show up in the energy of their future self before the stripe notification actually shifts, before they get their desired results. And that's what I'm learning because that's the season I am in, and that's what is teaching me right now. So, if you're in a launch or building a brand or just showing up online with for your vision, right? And it feels tight, it feels heavy, it feels like no one else is responding. I mean, I want you to pause and ask yourself this. Am I leading from alignment or from attachment? Because energy leaves clues. When your strategy feels dry, when your pose feels forced, when your body feels drained, it might not be the funnel that needs fixing. It might be your frequency behind that. So, you need to ask yourself, are you creating from your future self or are you creating from your fear self? Are you launching because it's time or because you think you're running out of time? Literally, that was me when I was back then in 5 years ago when I started being an influencer. I was creating content because I was creating content because just to earn money, and I wanted to move out. So I did everything I could to earn money and make money so I could move out as fast as possible, which that did not work because the energy behind it was lack, serious lack energy, no, not abundance. So, because business built from fear, whether it's content creation or being an influencer or any kind of business at all, business rooted or built from fear may perform, but business built from faith, honey, it transforms you, not just you, but also the people who buy, the clients who buys from you, your audience you reach, you know, the people around you as well too. It all transforms. This is where manifestation meets marketing because strategy without identity is just performance. And let's be real, people who have not done, any kind of inner work, right? And they've built a business. I'm sorry to say, but that's something I actually do believe is that if you have not done your inner, if you're not done, if you have not done any inner work, right, and you are doing a business, any product you're creating, any business you're creating, any strategy, any offer, whatever it is, right? You're not launching from vision. You are literally launching from survival. Because the reason this work is so important is because I've seen what happens when we build from anything but alignment. I've watched people, especially from older generations, start businesses out of survival, not from their soul, hell no, but from scarcity, from comparison. Literally, I'll give you an example. My dad started businesses like this. He the business he had or he still has right up to today, now is actually an hotel business. He actually runs a hotel businesses and he has three um branches or three buildings of the hotel. And the thing is, one, say this little caveat here. He launched the business, right? He opened the second or third buildings for the business when he hadn't even seen any kind of substantial, you know, growth in the first hotel building, you know. That's one thing. He didn't have access, he did not do any kind of inner work, emotional clarity, or even nervous system support. He didn't have anything like that. He built because he had to, not because it was his, you know. And the businesses looked good at first. I'm not gonna lie, they actually looked good. That first building he opened for the hotel, right? It looks good. The facilities in there was stunning, but he struggled to see any kind of substantial or get any kind of substantial result or money from that branch. So he thought that going let's okay go, open another branch in or another building in another city or even another part of the city, right, would actually be a good idea. But no, it did not actually work. You know, the reason why it actually didn't work is because they were heavy. They were misaligned, draining. Because when you build from someone else's part, because he saw he looked at the the market, right, the industry, and so that people was was having successes. But because people are having successes in a particular industry, does not mean you have success in that industry, you know. And because he built from someone else's path, he didn't get the result he desired. And I refuse to repeat that cycle, honestly. So, me knowing that, I healed any kind of one that has to do with, you know, jealousy that you may get from looking at someone else's result or growth or comparison. Okay, when you move from comparison, survival, building your business from low frequency energy and move to building your business with high frequency energy, as well as becoming the person that's able to hold that kind of business you are trying to create, that kind of those products, those services, those goals you are using your business to help you achieve, that's when things starts working. Like it needs, that's when things start working. That's when things start coming into alignment. That's when your content starts landing. That's when your audience starts feeling you. You know, that's when money, clients, opportunities begin to mirror back to back you embodiment. I say because business isn't built from the version of you that's still doubting, that's still comparing, that's still seeking validation, that's still, you know, um, that's still trying to survive like how I was back then, 5 years ago when I was creating content just to be an influencer and here and earn money to move out, you know, it's actually built from the version of you that already knows I'm the one, this is the work, my energy is enough. Yeah. So I'm actually gonna end this podcast here. Okay, so I'm actually gonna end this podcast here. My voice is already cracking. I'm sorry, but but if this particular episode spoke to you, if you're feeling the weight of doing business the old way and you're ready to lead with your full self, this is exactly the recalibration we're doing inside my world. Whether it's inside the inner gold framework or just through these conversations, my invitation is simple. Let your next move come from your future self, not from your scared self or from your fear self. And watch what shifts. You don't need a new plan, you need a new frequency. And she is already inside you. I'll see you in another episode. But till then, bye. Alright, you can step deeper into your becoming. If this episode cracks something open for you, don't keep it quiet. Share it and tag me on TikTok. And on there, I'm called Revel. And let your ripple begin. Honey, let your ripple begin. Until next time, stay radiant, stay rooted, and keep creating your own damn timeline.